Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. And this is the first panel of the day. We have many more panels which are going to be really interesting. And I'm going to start with introducing my panelists. We have Dr. Prasanth Nair. He's the CHRO for Crompton, Greaves Consumer Electricals, and also Dr. Jagmohan Singh Rishi, Global Head HR and L&D of Wockhardt. Dr. Nair and I had a chance earlier this month to discuss about the budget, and before we delve into the conversation, Dr. Nair, we spoke in depth about the role of AI and learning and development in this year's budget. Anything you want to share with all of us as to what were some of the missed opportunity in terms of L&D in this year's budget and what could have been done better? Just quickly in a minute.
Okay. Good morning and thanks for having me here. It's my pleasure to be here and sharing my views. This was a googly. This is not. This is out of the syllabus question. Okay, fine. But I think the government, kudos to the government for doing what it's done. What it has done is actually focused on creating skilling for AI. I think going forward, what will be extremely important is that it's a reality that we cannot miss. Okay. They've also, I think, given a lot of scopes as far as the global capability centers are concerned. And that's going to be the building block for what I call the future of technology in the world. And I think so these are standouts for me as far as the budget is concerned. What it probably could have done is, and maybe it's not the government's role to do it at all. In the last week, and I would actually start this conference also, this panel discussion also. Last week something very interesting happened. There was Anthropic launched the Cloud Pro, and TCS lost about 50,000 crore in market valuation. Infosys lost about 25,000 market valuation. So what's going to be the future of IT services companies? And as you would know, they employ a whole lot of people. How is this transition going to be managed for India is going to be super critical as far as the entire segment is concerned. If you're a business analyst, if you're a financial analyst, you look at the balance sheet of these companies, there is a lot of cash sitting in the balance sheet. How do we get them to deploy that as far as AI model, foundational models are concerned? India, even today, we talk a lot about AI. A lot of companies are getting into AI. But we are not building foundational models. Now, what's the incentive for that? And we have a brilliant opportunity like what we did for Aadhaar. Aadhaar is a technology that has got scale. That's innovation at scale. Can we do the same thing in AI? Is something that the government and the large IT companies need to think about in the future. And more there's no, I think every time we go to the government, I think it's now the responsibility of the private enterprise, private capital, to deploy the cash, to put the money where the mouth is, right? That's the problem, right? So they need to deploy money where about foundational AI models are rendered there.
Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Nair. Coming back to the topic for this discussion, which is Iterative and Incremental development with Generative AI for content creation. We're seeing that globally more than 70% of organizations have started experimenting and implementing AI in some form or the other in the learning, and learning has had its greatest impact, right? And this shift is no more just speed-based, but also philosophical, because what took months and months of developing a training tool or let's say an assessment platform, it's now being done in a couple of hours. It's safe to say that L&D function is no more just a support function, but it is now a strategic capability engine for an organization, of course, with a balance of human judgment and intelligent automation. Dr. Jagmohan, I want to start with you. An opening question to you is, how is generative AI changing the very definition of what good learning looks like in an organization?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Savi. Thanks, Businessworld and Anuragji for having us here. It's great to be meeting a lot of L&D colleagues over here. And coming to your question, Savi, how is generative AI helping us in the field of learning and development? I think everybody knows the answer. Let me try to put it another way. That generative AI is helping us in not only in the content but context and communication to various aspects of it. So I'll call it, it is iterative, it is intelligent, and also it is incremental. So that the learning is getting interact. Earlier the word was co-creation of the content, today it is co-evolving of the content. That is something which is coming up of late with respect to learning. I think Ashwa showed us very nice model of incremental way of use of AI. Let me not repeat it, but which is not just the banded technique of AI usage should be there. It has to be into ERP systems in the organization, is to be integrated. Then only one can make the best use of learning is. So whether it is hours, number of hours, the analytics, the platform usage. I can give you an example. Like I mean, I can give a lot of gyan, but let me give you an example over here. For example, I'm not exploring. We have already launched a pilot, wherein in hospitals, because the turnaround time of the nurses is very high. Okay. Similarly, in the sales function, turnover is very high. So that we have to have very fast DAT so that they become ready for the next level. So what we have done is my team has trained the AI agent so that the basics can be taken, and finally the number of hours which is taken by the trainer nurse is much lesser compared to it is reduced by 1 week. And the effectiveness, the productivity, the follow-up of the trainings are done by the AI agent. So that is something. Some of my question that the job is taken by AI. No. I was in LinkedIn forum and they said that 1 million jobs are being created, at the same time lost also because of AI, and because of AI they are being created also. So it is AI is helping us to be more productive and more agile. That is, I'll say it. At the same time, we are also tried with as sir was talking about the use of AI in HR processes. We have the human interview plus we have the AI interview also. Only thing we are trying to map it out that whether it is still relevant or not. When that agent is still not perfected to the human part. So a lot of aspects are there. Only thing is that since I come from armed forces family, my father was in army, so he used to tell me one thing, that you should be disciplined in life. So AI is like a child. You should know how to discipline it. Of course, one should not lose the creative juices, but AI is like that you have to do it in discipline manner kind of thing.
Thank you for sharing that. Dr. Nair, you have anything to add to that?
I've got a lot of things to add to it. Okay. Number one is AI to me is not like a child. Okay. In Hindu mythology, there is a story of Mahishasura. Basmasura was a creation of Lord Shiva. Okay. And he did penance, and this the boon that was given to him was that if you touch anyone's head, that person will turn into Basma, which is ashes. Okay. So he was a naughty guy. He said, I'm going to test it on you. So Shiva started running. Okay. Why am I giving this analogy is that AI is a tool where the created can be more powerful than the creator. Okay. So it's not a child. We need to, that's my
I say it's a creative child.
Two HR people, when they meet, we always disagree. So we need to be, and I think Anurag mentioned that example where the safety officer of two companies have stepped down in the last 1 week. That's a signal, there's a red flag actually, what this is going to do. Okay, that's a part. Now let's come at an organization level. What's happening is, due to AI, the very organizational structure will no longer be the same. Okay. Let me give an example. All of you would have a chief, an IT department. All of you have. It was called ERP earlier, now it's called IT, now it's called digital, and so on and so forth. The role of the digital function will undergo a huge change. It may not be even required. With cloud, you can actually make your app. Okay, a novice like me could make an app on the weekend. So the very role, the functioning of processes, the flow of processes will change. When org structure changes, the roles change. And what is called the unbundling of roles will take place. Okay, we can get into debate, I'm not getting into theory, but what it in short means is that there will be part of my role that is no longer needed, a human need not do it. It could be 75% of a job, it could be 25% of a job, it could be 90%. I disagree with anyone who says jobs will not be lost. And mind you, it is not AI which is causing the loss, it's capitalism which is causing the loss. AI is an agent, poor AI. It's a tool, or it's an agent, whatever you call it. There are billions of money invested in AI to come up with a product. Do you think it's fun? Economy will collapse if this does not give return. And how is the return going to be created? It's going to be in terms of productivity. So, people have fooled themselves when they say jobs will not be lost. Yes, the jobs will be created. It's better to confront that reality saying that jobs will be lost. What we need as HR people, as organization leaders, as people, responsible people in the society, we need to see how do we upskill a certain people, how do we prepare the talent for tomorrow, the young generation of tomorrow, to actually be ready in this job and pick up skills, pick up those roles which will be there in some years' time and not the jobs which are there today.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Nair. It's interesting to have two very different
perspectives.
Yeah, sure.
So just reminded me of one recent thing. I was in IIM Kolkata for that. That organization structures are going to be in for change, as he said. So I use two aspects. One is going to be exploitative, second will be explorative. So where the things are repetitive in the nature, it will be exploitative kind of structure, where it is automation kind of thing. But where the innovation is going to come, there you have to be having explorative way, and AI is going to play a big role in that. That is what I thought. Bits on that.
Thank you. Dr. Rishi, adding to that, what does an effective prompt to program workflow look like for you or in a large enterprise? If you could give us a few examples of that as well.
I think prompt to program workflow definitely talks about this aspect that we have to, again, prompt engineering is big aspect, but today mature prompting is something which is very, very important when it comes to answer in order to create some kind of right programs for us. So those are the aspects which are being, taken up by us, and today instructional quality is improving because of right prompt. And at the same time, when we do the right kind of prompting, we build, we test, we learn, we refine, and then we scale up also. And that is something we are able to build those programs accordingly. That is something to bit of mine.
But I want to hold on to this thought. Cool. So, Dr. Rishi, how do you maintain a balance between human judgment with generative AI? There's a lot of bias, there's a lot of concerns that are also coming up, but then how do you maintain that balance of human judgment with the machine intelligence?
Yeah, ideally speaking, I think everybody must have used AI. Anybody who's not used AI, please raise your hand. ChatGPT or whatever it is. So what happens is these days it is also becoming important. So you say that I need a session plan for trainer program. At the end of the day, I can make you remember what it says, it closes it. I can help you with this also, right? And then you get into that and you start from one thing and you end up somewhere else, right? That is where prompting is very, very important. In fact, one of my colleagues, he is also a Punjabi Munda, and he was singing this song, epidemic song, Teriya Adama, that, and he said, Teriya Adama, AI ko bol raha tha. To, maar suttiya ne munda, kakade rakhya. So that is something he was talking about, that how we start from one point, how we end up somewhere else. So that is where the discipline is very important with respect to prompting also. And what we want, we should be. So it is in the hands of human to stay disciplined, what he or she wants, rather than getting into the flow also. Yeah, if you are into explorative mode, you can keep on going with the flow. So the decision lies with the human about what kind of prompt has to be given and what is the outcome or output you want from that prompt.
Dr. Nair, your views on personalization in L&D through generative AI, do you think it's how on ground, what is the reality? Do you think it's more of a hype than it is actually happening? Or maybe you could share some examples of something that you are doing at your organization?
So I'll share the example later, but I think there are 4 dimensions of how it's personalized. And I call it 4 M's. One is multi-dimensional approach. Okay. And what it does is, and I think Madam spoke about being Socrative, adaptive, the different ways by which AI can actually help the learning process. I call it multi-dimensional. Second, going back to core fundamentals of learning cycle, we have called learning cycle. I know it's a very educated, learned audience. I will not go through the cycle, but AI can actually help us through the personalization of a journey through which learning mode does the person prefer. Okay, for example, I would like to experiment. Somebody would like to learn through conceptualization. So AI can actually help that. So one is modes, one is multi-dimensional. Third is AI can help in modality switching at a very fast rate. For example, if I have to link up a concept with a hobby, AI can actually do that. Okay, so I want to learn machine learning, and I'm interested in say football. So actually, it can help why Manchester United lost. I really like Manchester United losing because I'm a Man City fan. So it can help why Man United is losing and Man City is winning by using modality switching. And the fourth is AI can actually create milestones for your journey at your pace. So multidimensionality, modality, switching, modes, milestones. These are the 4 ways by which AI can actually personalize the journey. But I want to highlight one very interesting phenomenon that I'm seeing. I'm basically from Kerala, but I had to, I studied Hindi, and there's usually प्रॉब्लम होता था अभी भी काकी में भी प्रॉब्लम होता है सो हिंदी में वाक्य बना होता था everybody understands Hindi with my Hindi pardon me for that वाक्य बना होता था कुछ शब्द I never understood the meaning of the शब्द but I came through a very good algorithm I didn't know the word at that time I had a sentence in my mind saying that any शब्द comes I will say that ये हिंदी में एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण शब्द है जिसका प्रयोग अनेक परिस्थितियों में किया जा सकता है.
Very well.
Okay.
Good. Sure.
Okay. So I came upon this till one teacher crossed it. But it's very, why I'm giving this example is, you go to any organization, headcount reduction, AI. Budget, AI. AI एक standard phase बन गया है ये organization. You do any good thing, any bad thing, क्यों कंपनी का प्रॉफिट कम हुआ AI impact. शेयर प्राइस क्यों कम हुआ AI impact. डाउनसाइजिंग क्यों हो रहा है AI impact. So we, as educated people, we need to see the shift between what is really caused by AI and what is not caused by AI. And it also gives us opportunity to reflect whether AI is an input or AI is an output. AI strategy नहीं होता है boss. AI is an input to every strategy. The moment you have an AI strategy, you're missing the wood from the trees.
Thank you, Dr. Nair. Dr. Rishi, what are some of the metrics that today's CHROs and CLOs are using to understand more about the speed of content creation, about the skill accuracy, about the training tools and the assessment tools that are there in an organization?
I think the metrics remain same with respect to readiness, with respect to confidence of the people, with respect to application ability of those aspects, and I will link the metrics with the outcomes, rather than those learning hours and other aspects. Let's not stick to those L&D kind of metrics. कि भैया क्या smiley sheet का हो गया. That is so we stick to outcomes of the learning. That is more important. Whether the person's productivity has improved. Skill you must be knowing that on paper the scores are very high, but the product performance is very low. So it talks about the will and skill kind of thing. So I always link it that whether you are using AI or using human, what are the outcomes coming out of the learning and development initiative. So it is in the hands of the L&D specialist how we use AI to further strengthen the learnings. For example, I gave you an example of those exploratory things, kind of exploitative things. It's a repetitive learning which is happening, which can be technical knowledge. But when it comes to skill building, it requires different approach. So we use AI for assessment. AI is also giving us in the rating scales of the people with respect to confidence, with respect to communication, with respect to charisma. But at the same time, we have to link it to the outcomes.
My closing question to you, Dr. Rishi, I'll ask you first. In terms of generative AI making more space in organizations, what is one traditional L&D function that you think generative AI will replace, and what new capabilities will be built?
Interesting question. Can you repeat the question once again?
With generative AI, what traditional L&D function do you think will be displaced, and what are the new capabilities that will be built?
I think from the advent of COVID, the L&D function has got its importance, right? And I will say that it will not replace a function, but it will evolve as a function. So primarily, I will say that the L&D specialists they can further strengthen their IT skills, the AI skills. At the same time, it will also help them bring visibility within the organization, and they can evolve as a transformational department for the organization. I always say L&D function is an internal consultant to the organization. We bring consultants from outside. You already have a consultant if he or she is mature enough. So that is how you have to evolve as an internal consultant to transform the organization. And they should be able to challenge the status quo. That is something new.
Same question to you, Dr. Nair.
So it gave me some 2 minutes extra to think. So I'm a bit unfair advantage. But I think the role of the content will go, content maker, because AI can make content far faster and much better content. What role will change? The role of the trainer will change. Because how do we get the hard spot is already there. How do we get empathy into the room? I think if that person can create interest in the participants, can actually link the content to the outcome, I think that skill, if the trainer can bring in, that trainer will be a successful trainer.
Thank you. Before we end the session, I have a quick rapid fire round, and we only want yes, no, and one word answers, no explanations, because this is going to open more conversations for you to have with the delegates.
Maybe is allowed? Maybe is allowed?
No, maybe it's not allowed. It's a definite yes, no, or a one word.
Is also allowed.
No, nothing is allowed. No time to think at all. All right. Starting with Dr. Nair, are companies using upskilling as a polite way to delay layoffs?
Yes.
Dr. Rishi? Yes. Okay. Should employees be expected to fund their own learning if it increases their market value? Dr. Rishi?
Yes.
Dr. Nair?
I'm tempted to say yes, but I'll say no for the discipline.
Okay, we'll not ask you why, because we'll then leave it open. Is mandatory training the biggest productivity killer in modern workplaces? We're talking about mandatory training.
Yes.
Okay. Are AI tools making traditional L&D functions obsolete?
You're not giving a
No,
yes.
maybe.
Yes and no?
No, just one answer.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do managers block learning time?
Yes.
Do managers block learning time?
Block means stop.
Yeah, as an example.
Yes.
Okay. Is mandatory training a waste?
Managerial training.
Mandatory.
Mandatory training is a waste? No.
Okay. Are certificates overrated?
Yes.
Yes.
Very firm yes to that question. Does AI make trainers obsolete?
No. Provided by the officer.
Do you think L&D is just rebranded HR? Is L&D rebranded HR?
No.
No.
Last question. Are employees tired of the learning culture? Employees tired of the learning culture?
No.
Dr. Rishi is still thinking.
No.
Okay. Well, a big round of applause for the panel.